Makes you even feel hungry. What is that? Yes, so some good news this week. Even the bloody bad bit's quite good. Not sure where Chris is, but judging by the fact it's a Friday, it's gone past 4 o'clock. I think he's long gone. 7th of June, come back from a holiday, had a wonderful time, very much enjoyed it. There are aspects of when you come back after a holiday that you actually wish you were still on holiday, judging by the amount of posts and what's in it. But just come and have a quick look round. I wanted to see where we were. We've been away a week. We're at the tail end of the following working week now. This is Friday, and we stood in this field 2 weeks ago, and it was basically about 6-8 inches high. Now look at it in flowers. It's probably grown 6 inches a day. It's enormous. It's absolutely enormous, and it's full of life. There is full of the bees that we've got just over the back there. It's grown really well. Even the patches, interestingly, that we stood in last time, which were completely bald, and we've had analysed and we've had the data back. The main issue with those areas is lime. Down to 4.7 pH. We need a 7 pH ideally for growing crops. So we've got some small areas, crested areas, which are gone acidic. So we need to get some lime, and we need to put that on after harvest, ready for the following crops. It's interesting, that was the issue. We went to another field where we had a similar problem on, thinking that must be what it is. Actually, it was a completely different thing. That was mainly, it seemed to be a lockup of phosphate, and the fact that it had been in historical grass for a while, and actually that would be a wireworm. So we dug down and found that the wireworm was killing the mustard. So it's just interesting that you can look at one aspect, think it's the same problem, and actually it's something completely different. So really pleased with the mustard. I'm feeling quite hopeful this is going to be our year, and we're going to have a great harvest. It's going to be one of our best yielding years. We're going to go and have a look at the barley, how it's turning. So looking at the barley, and if we look across the fields, you can just start to see the coloration change, where the green just here in the gateway, where it's a little bit further behind, but as you look across, it's just starting to turn. It's now on the way out, so it's now getting to the point where this is, you can start to see this is turning brown. It's getting closer to harvest. Now the reason I wanted to pull here is if you just look to the side, you can see that is ryegrass. Now I think this is the new problem that we're going to have in agriculture, way and above what blackgrass ever was. Blackgrass chits twice a year effectively, ryegrass can grow every month. The reason I wanted to show you this is the effect of having 6-metre grass margins around the outside of fields. Historically was done through ELS, and ryegrass was in the seed mixes, and the seed that's got established and seeded, then that's getting combined. That's getting blown out by the chopper on the combine. That's then getting spread, the following year getting spread further, and all of a sudden you start to look down the outside of a field, and you can see now we're 20 metres wide worth of ryegrass growing out the top of the crop. This is going to be a new problem in farming, and we're going to wish we had blackgrass back. And this is imported problem that we've brought in through environmental schemes and through the seed mixes, and this is one of the things I'm terrified about, what the SFI is effectively going to bring in the seed mixes, which then is going to bring a historical problem going forwards, and this is hugely competitive, and this will rob yield up to 50% if not more. At worst, it can pull a whole crop down. So to put into perspective, you can be slashing out, if you've got barley for example, we've had nearly hit £200 a tonne. If we look at that at say 10 tonne a hectare, just for quick arithmetic, that's £2,000. You take 50% of that away, you've just lost £1,000 a hectare due to a weed that we've imported in. So this area here, this is part of what was the very poorly backward part. Actually the mustard's been compensating, the area's getting smaller, but there is still a definite bit of an area here, and I suspect in another week or 2 weeks it will become more difficult to find. On the analysis of the soil, these patches are acidic. Now what's interesting about that isn't something typically on this Handsloop series clay that we ever find, but it's got to be towards the fact that it's getting down towards the ditch, and maybe there's some sort of lighter bit of ground just in a seam running along here. So we'll treat this headland with some a liming product out from a local quarry up in Lincolnshire, and we'll get this spread in the after harvest, and we'll correct this problem. But that's the fascinating thing about farming, is that you're always learning, and the scientific aspect that we can measure things in farming is so important, because without measurement we don't know anything. And being able to measure this and then work out what the nutrient deficiency is key to be able to perfect, to get 100% across a field rather than patches of good and bad. So this is coming on tremendously. They raised the blocks up, got the steel beams in, we put them in with the forklift, got them done locally at an agricultural place, made those for us. And then we've now got these trusses gone in. So we've done that with the gaps in between, so that we can actually run all the services and pipes and water and drainage, etc., through them without having to lose some of the height of the ceiling, etc., or start having boxed out areas. So yeah, I think that we'll now board that up, and then the bricklayers will come back and they'll go up again, and then we'll be able to start looking at putting in the roof trusses. So this is really starting to get a bit of momentum. I think the windows are coming next week as well. So yeah, so in a week's time this should really change. And yeah, I'm quite pleased. The weather's quite nice at the moment, so it's a good time to do this type of work outside. Not sure where Chris is, but judging by the fact it's a Friday, it's gone past 4 o'clock. I think he's long gone. Solar panels have arrived. These are going on the static frames in the field. We can't put them where we originally were hoping to put them, because as it turns out there's a voltage cable which runs through the ground. We've got to keep 10 metres either side of that away, so that sort of eliminates part of that field. So we're going to have to put them in the one adjacent. These ones are not grant funded, even though there is a grant potentially available, but of course they haven't been, as I'm aware, they haven't actually been told if anybody's got one yet, which is really annoying, because you want to know that pre-harvest, because that's when the most amount of energy is used, that's when the most amount of sun is used, which is the difficult thing about a grant, is the timing of them. We couldn't get them grant funded because they want them to go on a building, and because we want these to go on the land, because we're terrified about putting them on the roofs of the buildings, I explained earlier, because of the holes elongating, the water getting through and damaging the grain. We're hoping these are going to be built by the end of this month and should be turned on by the latest the 7th of July, which is going to be absolutely perfect for high intensity electricity uses that we will be doing in cooling grain, running the grain dryers, the elevators, conveyors, etc. And this is going to be 283 kilowatts, which is, we've already got hundreds, so this is really going to make a big impact on our electricity bills. So excited to see this. So we got planning permission for a new shed, and it's going to go here. This is already hardcore. This turns into a bit of a wash of a mess out here, so we've also put in to concrete it. We're hoping to hear back shortly. So new shed going in here, and then the idea is all the machinery will be able to live inside, go undercover and in rows, so it will have its own bay. My sort of dream is to be able to come into my shed, turn the lights on like Indiana Jones, where the lights go do 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 down, and all the machinery in rows. That's my sort of aspiration of 30 years now, to try and achieve that. So we're going to hopefully start building this summer, when Chris has finished the extension we just looked at. So yeah, now it's starting to dry up. When you still look around, even though it looks dry, there are still puddles everywhere, but you can feel the warmth now in the air. There is a real difference coming now. You can really feel late spring coming into summer, finally. This is Sandy. So Sandy's from Scotland, and he's got a baby on the way, haven't you? When's the baby going to be due?
During harvest, unfortunately.
Yes, and what's the date? When's the worst time to have a baby?
During harvest.
Yeah. Well, I can't say anything. It's more about opportunity than it is about timing.
Very true.
But yeah, so Sandy's one of the combines. Have you picked a combine yet?
No, not yet. No, I haven't had the chance.
Do we know what number you're having?
No, we haven't said. So
What did you have last year?
one I had last.
What do you want this year?
I don't mind. I'm not too fast.
We better make a decision
Yeah.
because one of the others might pick it.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, good. So, yeah, we're not long now, are we? Ah.
I know.
Boy or girl, we don't know, do you?
Don't know. Yeah. So
So
interesting.
Sandy's actually from Scotland, but you wouldn't tell. He's got his posh accent on, hasn't he?
I had to tighten it up a bit as he came down.
Is that right? Yes, he didn't sound like a Scotsman.
No.
Well, you're in good company with Gordon.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, have a good day.
Perfect.
See you later. Oh no, is it broken? What's happened? Oh. Well, what snapped off?
Yeah, I out now. I
No,
know.
but on the back, this is all broken. Look.
Is this broken here? I stops flag Trinity Farm.
Yeah.
Start. Kong.
What did you have to do? Kickstart it to get it to go?
Need now. No, this is maybe 15 minutes.
Oh, because it was jammed.
Yeah, what this is what here what I ring Rhymes say need out. I all out. Look, just now need new
Are
starter.
you looking for a new one?
Yeah.
Can you find it?
Maybe where you buy.
You want me to ring him and ask him?
Yeah, maybe need to ask. Maybe.
Can you send me pictures?
I've sent it to you already.
Oh, okay. All right. My favourite job is tidying up. I really enjoy it. This is the best time of year. Getting things ship shape, reorganising, going through. Come and look at the shelves over here. So Spaldings have been in, and we've got an impress stock system. So every machine we have, like the Joker or the Tirano or the mould drainer, for example, or the plough, has its own shelf and then has its own part number, so that you can come in, grab a part, take it with you. They come and do a monthly stock take, and whatever's missing, they then charge you for that. And equally, if for example it's put back and it's on the stock take as a plus, they would then credit us back. So the system works really well for us because then we never run out of parts. We know where the parts are, we come and get them. We'll have got about 15 months worth of supply even in a bad year, so we've always got plenty, so we don't ever have to go to a dealership or anything to get the bits. And then Class, they've just been in today, they've been going through the panels. These are all the old combine manuals which are now will be going because obviously they're no good to us. And these shelves here were completely full of combine stuff. So they've been through it all today. Steve Hillier came and they went through everything. They took away everything for no longer fitted our new combines. And then they left behind, they bought their Storman. They left behind what still fits and still works, which is great. We don't want to get caught out where there's still stuff that belongs to the wrong maker combine, and suddenly, you know, somebody grabs it. They're told to come and get it, grab a part, go 70 miles to the combines and find they've got the wrong bit, doesn't even fit. Complete waste of time for us. So we restock all this. So what they're doing is they brought in through Mans, they brought in parts, which might be Horsch parts, for example. On an impress stock system again, these belong to Horsch and to Mans, and we'll have all the parts for every machine, bearings, etc. for the discs on the back of the Tirano and the discs on the Joker, and it tells you there the part number, the quantity if it's in there. We can take one, they'll come and do a monthly stock take again and then charge us for what we've used. But it means we don't have to keep driving up and down the road. Even filters and things for the sprayers. We'll have nozzles in here, etc. And then we'll slowly get through here and we'll go through all these shelves, etc. And we'll continue this process on. And then we've, you know, discs, a whole set of discs down here, for example, for the Certo, for one, you know, for the drills. So there's a whole set there. Filters, engine filters. They're in kit. Each box is effectively a kit for a machine. Whether it's like the that's the Horsch lead, sprayer, for example, that's a horse lead. That's also a lead. So yeah, this system works for us to make us more efficient, deal with the prices once a year, agree the prices, that's us set for the year then. Guarantees them business, and it guarantees us supply. Nothing worse than having a difficult year where everything is a high wear year on say, for example, subsoilers, and all of a sudden the country runs out of stock, and we're trying to subsoil and get on because it's a really abrasive year, really hard, and everything wears really quickly. That won't be a problem. We'll suffer because we've got plenty of stock. See how the rubbish, the black grass, is coming out from the outside. That's all brome along there, and you can see the wheel here and a wheel there. That wheeling, interestingly, is from the hedge cutter, and so the hedge cutter's gone down there cutting the hedges, obviously, and yeah, just that sort of level of compaction is evident in the crop, but also the rubbish coming up from the outsides and then coming in. That again, the combine gets. I wanted to show you the reason we've come in this field. This is called Doctor's Field. It's actually named after my grandfather, who was a doctor of medicine, but decided to change his career to become a farmer when his father, my great-grandfather, bought this farm. And he bought the farm originally as an investment, and after 6 years of owning the farm from 1950, decided it wasn't an investment and it wasn't making money and was actually going to sell the farm. But my grandfather decided that he was no longer wanted to practice being a doctor. He was in World War II as a doctor in the Navy. He was on HMS Victory, which is a wooden ship. Interestingly, he was part of the when they were disciplining the sailors. He was the doctor on deck, effectively would have administered their, looking after their, when they were being flogged. And he decided to become a farmer. And so this field they named after my grandfather, and the reason is because my father came out in this field as a young man in the Land Rover to pick my grandfather up, who was on the crawler, and steel tracked county crawler with a set of discs on the back. And father came out to pick him up, and he said, well, let me just swing round and go and park it up out the way. And as he swung round, he took the front of the Land Rover off. And so father called the field Doctor's Field after that. Greater Cambridge Partnership want to come and build a park and ride in this field. It's directly opposite my house. And they came in and they've dug these trial holes to have a look at the soil. Now, if you look at the field here, which is obviously Skyfall milling wheat, good crop, first wheat, where they dug these holes, absolutely full of black grass. This is completely made a complete mess of the drainage. It's made a mess of the field. We've tried to drill it twice to try and get a crop to establish in it. And look at all the black grass that's come up, because they did this after it was drilled, after the pre-em was on it, disturbed all the soil, broke all the pre-em. This has come up, and we're now going to have these rectangular big areas of black grass, which then the combine will go through and it will spread it across the field. And all the work of making these fields clean and going for 10, 11, 12 tonne a hectare crops getting damaged by this type of activity. Years and years of work. When they dug through for these trial pits, they've dug through the drainage and land drainage. And one thing we've done is spent a fortune over the last 3 generations in land drainage and continuous drainage, because, you know, as we've seen in earlier videos, you cannot farm this land without proper drainage. You just will not get the yield, you will not get on with the machinery, and you will not get the effectiveness of the chemical. They drug through the drainage. We had a professional outfit, William Morfitts, come out. It was agreed in the licence for them to do this, to come and inspect the crop and look at the field, look at the damage they caused, then do a quotation to do it. Currently, the Greater Cambridge Partnership are refusing to pay for the damage that they've done. And you can see quite clearly the effect that they've already had in that crop and the future year's crop. Really not impressed. So in 2 weeks, the peas are transformed and they're really starting to come up. Freddie and Raymond being on the motorbike going round, We bought the motorbike just for them to keep the pigeons off, so they goes up and down the tram lines, etc. You know, beeping the horn. We can't get any rockets at the moment. Normally we'd use these rockets and we'd fire these rockets and it sees the pigeons and sets them off in the air, and you keep disturbing them and eventually they go away. But so we're using a motorbike at the moment for that. But it's fascinating to see how the carpet of peas is now coming about. They sort of wed themselves together. It's like they've got little hands that come out and, you know, they lock themselves into each other, so they create this almost bed effect. And considering how this went in, and you know, really pleased to see this. And cousin Michael, he's got a pea moth hormone trap out here, looking at these insects and things to see what insects we're going to pick up, because you don't want to just spray insecticide willy-nilly. You've got to have a science behind it. We've got to have a level of measurement, so he's got sticky pieces in there, the insects are going on it, he's recording and calculating what's in there. When it hits a certain threshold, then that's when we'll spray, and if we don't hit the threshold we won't spray. So yeah, that's one way in which we put a bit of science into what chemical we use or don't use, etc. So you can see now, looking across the field, it's a well, just you see the undulating ground, how it's going, etc. It's just beautifully clean. The ground's clean, no black grass. Hoping the combio headers on the combines, which have got the belts on, they're going to glide through here, because peas have a habit, when it gets nearer harvest, they get lower and lower and lower and lower. And then the pods get close to the ground, which means you've got to get right underneath with the combines. And we're hoping that those various headers pick this all up. And we had to order today with Stephen Hillier. There's a pea and bean kit where basically goes underneath the grain elevator that's full of holes. Basically, the peas can't fall through, but any soil that you scrape up for the definition of being so low drops out, so we don't get all the soil in the tank. But it's a lovely smell. It's like going in somebody's garden where they're growing peas. They've got this sort of makes you even feel hungry. But now this is interesting. In farming, when we make a bit of a cock up with drilling like this, he's got blocked up, because you can see how it's been getting stuck on the discs and it's been balling up. So he's obviously stopped, had another go again, cleaned it out and set off. But for whatever reason, you have to back up to drill. So by the time it takes the seed to go from the metering system through and down to the pipes, you have to be far enough back to give it a lead time. So it hasn't happened. So we now got no seed. Now I know Sandy drilled this field, and so this is a drilling cock up. Now in farming, what we tend to do is we call these skylark plots. So we then say we deliberately did this so that the skylarks can land on it. Or if we got a neighbour watching, we'll put white canes in so that he thinks it's a trial plot and he keeps wondering what it is, and he then doesn't realise that it's actually a myth. While I was away on holiday, we had an NFU audit. They went round all the various aspects of the farm, looking at health and safety, the farms away from here, the grain storage, the transport side, the farming side, the workshop, the yards, you know, coming onto site, etc., looking at where our high risk areas were. Paid for this audit to happen, just to sort of give us a health check, one for a better word. He received it today, and a couple of action points they put forward. Yeah, we've implemented. We're going to implement these. Some of the things are relatively basic and obvious, and that's point of doing an audit really, is to sharpen you up. And some of them, you know, sort of good common sense ideas, and we'll send it round to all the different managers. They're all going to have a look at which bits relate to their side. We'll get them done pre-harvest, so that you know, we're doing our very best all the time to try and make sure that you know, for safety, we're looking after everybody, because agriculture being the worst industry out there for health and safety, we've got to actively do our bit to try and improve the safety record. Yes, so some good news this week. So Saturday just gone, the Cambridgeshire Young Farmers had their annual rally. It was moved this year to Abbots Ripton, and unfortunately I was away when it was on, but actually it was attended, and we were very proud to support Comberton Young Farmers, which of course was the club I went to. It's not far from here, and a lot of my great friends I made for life went to that club. We supported them for the next 3 years, so they got it on their tops, and they were competing, and they were doing well with the tug of war. So yeah, good luck to this coming year for the young farmers, and we're very pleased to support them and feel that, you know, looking after them and nurturing them and bringing them on in the industry is important, because they are, of course, our future. So SFI, Katie Hilton at Cheffins, who looks after all our applications, she's excellent at this. I don't have the attention span or the ability to sit and do this, but she's very good. So that is part of the business, is surround yourself with brilliant people. We just done a couple of other smaller agreements, which are contract farms and land which we look after. So they're done now. So pleased that we're slowly getting those done and getting a bit of momentum. One of the best things that's happened this last week is we've got confirmation from the RPA that we've got some grant funding for a addition to our grain hospital, in expanding our cleaning range, where we currently have a 5-channel colour sorter. We want to expand that, because the way the colour sorter works is there are 5 channels, which is the lines the grains come down. 4 will be cleaning grain, the 5th is cleaning the rejects. The 5th can slow down the whole process, so we want to expand that by having another colour sorter. We've now got RPA funding. We started this in 2018. So what are we, nearly 6.5 years later? We were getting knocked on that, and we finally, from perseverance or determination, whichever one would call it, we've actually managed to get through. It's probably cost us, though, best part of £20,000 in fees and things in going through this process, which is actually money up front and been going on 6 years, but we've actually been told we've now got about 30 to 40% grant funding. So we'll look at that and what that's going to cost for building next year. And got the planning permission for the shed we're going to build, so we're going to hopefully start that shortly. So all in all, good week. As always, when you come back from holiday, I get my piles of post and various other disappointies, but we're nearly towards the end of the week, so we don't need to dwell on that.